Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good afternoon everybody. Happy Friday to you all. I have a feeling that maybe the weather's changing for everybody, but I know where I live, it's pushing 100 degrees almost. So anyway, everybody stay cool, stay calm, cool, and collected, and have a great weekend. Stay safe, all that good stuff when you're out on the highways in these summer months. Hey, listen, we have had some really good information that's coming out, but I'm going to get to that. But one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is that, we've had news that we put in Patreon, patreon.com/MMANDCREW, and in our membership that we have what's offered from Patreon is a free membership to Discord, which gives you access to Militia Man's chat room. And there's easy instructions to do that once you become a member. But all the members that are with Patreon already, you guys all know that you have access to Discord if you choose to do so. You don't have to, but you choose to do so. So what I've done is I've created with our IT, with Greg, and one of the crew members, Frosty. He plays back in the scenes sometimes, but he's still with us. And we've loaded a new channel called XRP General Chat, and we're going to offer that to all customers or patrons, I should say, for the next 30 days. You're going to get the originals, but anybody that joins within the next 30 days is also going to be able to have part of that for the future. And then in 30 days, I'm going to load a new tier because it's going to be added work for us. It's going to be an extra value. But in the meantime, all you grandfathered in, everybody is, and all those that come in between now and that time frame on or around the 6th of next month will have that ability to gain access to that Discord portion, which is going to be about XRP and related topics, okay, effectively. So hope everybody appreciates that value. I think that the value we bring with all the news that our rock star Samson brings in each day and loads it primarily each day, unless she's on vacation. She's a workaholic, dynamo, but she brings in the news into Discord, where we have Gigi and Greg and Sunkiss when she's not too busy. She likes to come in sometimes. We appreciate that. But as Pompey Peter has been telling everybody that there is a little bit of a crew, and some of them are silent, but everybody's appreciated. Brian the Lion's Place, we post his spiritual uplifting, and a lot of people really appreciate that. And I know that around the world people see that because we are global. And so Brian, thank you so much for your time, and you're in my prayers tonight. So anyway, enough of that. It's going to be kind of brief tonight, is because I chose to just do a kind of a quick one because I know everybody's busy and they want to maybe go out and have a nice meal tonight somewhere, or go see a movie, for instance, or something like that. But here, the crisis of the region's employees' salaries continues, and there's no solution except to localize it. This is a former MP, and I bring this up because it's somewhat related. Is that what he's saying is that this former Kurdish MP, his name is Halib Mohammed, he confirms today on the 6th of this month, September, there is no solution to the crisis for employees' salaries in the Kurdistan region except by localizing the salaries in federal banks. I only bring this up is because there's actually news that front run this, but this is somebody who's saying, though, localizing those salaries. And what's that mean? That means they're going to get their salaries from the federal government so that the whole country, all employees are going to be localized to that platform, if you will, electronically, and get their payment monthly. And that's on the table tomorrow. Okay, but basically he's stating that all these problems will be solved monthly through the localization of salaries. And that's true, because if they get hooked up with Baghdad and the region, the government, it can, if they don't do it, it'll complicate this process. So they're likely going to do so. It says says there are compliments from the government parties in Baghdad for electoral purposes, but otherwise the federal court decision is clear and explicit regarding the localization of salaries in the federal banks. So basically, it's a court order for these two members, the Baghdad and the region, to meet and get it done. And that's what's on the table starting tomorrow. Basically, central bank and Herbal with the federal minister of TAFE, Minister Tafe Sami, will be arriving with a delegation. Okay, so that's part of the topic that we're talking about for tomorrow. And also, here is the article. It says Tafe Sami, Spectrum in Kurdistan tomorrow. And these are the files you will discuss. It says here on Friday, September 6th, 2024, that the Ministry of Finance, Tafe Sami, headed a large delegation that includes members of the Financial Supervisory Board, members of the Parliamentary Finance Committee to Herbal. Okay. The source goes on to say that the news that Sami will visit Herbal on Saturday with a delegation from the Finance Committee and will meet with regional officials, including the Prime Minister Masroor Barzani, big name, he's probably the top dog, and the Finance Minister Awad Sheikh Janab. This gentleman says that the Minister of Finance will discuss with Barzani and the Minister of the Finance of the region, the settlement of the salary file for employees. So the localization of the salaries, that's pretty much what they're probably talking about. And it says the problems in the lists, they'll talk about those. They'll settle the settlements of a file of new appointments and contracts. So they'll have that, because if they're going to add and subtract appointments and contracts, they need to have it set up. It says, and there's a follow-up of the emiratization file. And I did some research on that. And basically what that is about a little bit of a bonus, if you will, or, how do you say it? It's a benefit for those new employees from foreign regions. So, for instance, in this case, the United Arab Emirates have cut some deals. I think Tunisia has probably cut some deals. And so they're going to get an added bonus. Maybe some favoritism was the word I was looking for when it comes to employment. Okay. Because if the investors are going to bring in, they're going to use local workers, but they're probably going to use some of the foreign workers. And so that is what they're talking about in that part. They also say that they have a final settlement of the payments of the salaries of last August month and the repeated names in the list. So they've been having problems with transparency when it comes to the lists. So tomorrow they're going to have a meeting about that. And hopefully they get it hammered out. I'm pretty sure this new electronic system requires auditing and accuracy, and they're not going to settle for anything less. So obviously, Herbal is probably finally going to have to get down to the nitty-gritty and just put up the information accurately. Parliamentary Finance Committee Nermin Muraf revealed in statements to Kurdish media on Friday that Tafe Sami's visit to Herbal tomorrow, pointing out that the distribution of the salaries of late August is dependent on the speed of solving technical problems between Baghdad and Herbal. So basically, they've got a push to get this done. And how quickly can they do technical problems when there is electronic systems in play? So I don't think it takes long. I think it could be fractions of a second, to be fair. I think they probably got to a point where if Masroor Barzani is in the meetings with the highest level of the people in Baghdad tomorrow, well, at least with Tafe Sami in this article's case, they mean business, okay? A couple of key items in this part, from what I can see, is that the amortization is an important factor. Basically, it's about public and private sectors with foreign employees. Final settlements of the salaries in late August. The distribution of them is dependent on the speed at which they can solve those technical problems, as you guys heard. What I imagine is done yesterday, that those technical problems in mind prior to Tafe Sami's arrival are probably important aspects and will have an impact on the transfer of money policy, monetary policy, through open market operations. You guys, open market operations is something that's on the table with these guys, and we're going to see a little bit of information about that. So anyway, basically when they do things with open market operations, you're going to see that that's talking about currencies, talking about liquidity, it's talking about global trade, and so we'll be seeing stuff on that. Okay. more often than not, when you see things when they talk about quantitative and qualitative issues, is basically because they're looking to maintain the monetary supply, maintain price stability, control inflation, and all of these things that they are going to do will achieve integration and harmony with the rest of the other policies of the central bank as a whole of Iraq. So look, the objectives that they have for tomorrow on operational and intermediate and final components, they have both quantitative and qualitative tools in the central bank's kit to control, again, the monetary liquidity through various measures that include bond price channels, interest rate channels, exchange rate channels, okay, bank credit channels. You see where that's going? We've not seen this before, so all of those things that they've been talking about have been in the news, and we're going to see a little bit more about that, I think, in one of these articles that we have today. But it says here, the Ministerial Council of Economy decides to hold its next session in the Kurdistan region. That Ministerial Council for Economy was brought into play by al-Sudani back in late October or November, I believe, 2022, and it's the highest people in the country that make up that body. Look, there's the Deputy Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fawad Hussein. There's the Ministerial Council of the Economy. When they have the presence of these people, everybody's paying attention. The Ministry of Planning, Ministry of Finance, Industry, Trade, Agriculture, the Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, the Acting Chairman of the National Investment Commission, and the Prime Minister's Advisor for Economic and Legal Affairs. So every single one of those persons is possibly going to be in these meetings tomorrow in the Kurdistan region. And why are they there? Well, Taif Sami said that they have some key files that they want to settle. And they want to have some agreements. So if they're going to have the meeting of the minds, and I read to you who's all involved, you can see that Taif Sami is one of those and is part of that ministry, okay? It says here that the Ministerial Council of Economy decided today, which is Friday, to hold their next session in Kurdistan region headed by the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fawad Hussein. So it's going to be headed by the Deputy Prime Minister. So maybe al-Sudani won't be there, but ultimately at least a representative from the Prime Minister's office, his deputy, will be there with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And who else? Obviously the Ministerial Council of Economics, which is all inclusive of many of those names. My assumption would be Al-Alaq would be there, or his counterpart, or his deputy would be there for this. So it's actually probably a pretty big deal, and especially with Mansour Barzani being there, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a showing of al-Sudani himself too. It says the delegation of the Ministerial Council for the Economy, accompanied by a large number of officials from the federal government, is scheduled to leave tomorrow, Saturday, for Erbil to hold a series of meetings with the Prime Minister of the Kurdistan Regional Government, Mansour Barzani, members of the government, and some executive officials in the region. And they go on to say they'll discuss common issues, government work to resolve outstanding issues with the aim of removing obstacles in the implementation of some important files, as we already mentioned, in a way that achieves the interests of the citizens and have a direct effect by it. So just to back up just a little bit, you guys, the Banking Studies organizes a workshop on, this was the day before, it was yesterday, okay, and September 5th, the Center of Banking Studies at the Central Bank of Iraq, in the presence of the Director General of the Central Bank of Iraq in Erbil, and the representatives of the licensed banks in Kurdistan region of Iraq, organized a workshop entitled The Impact of the Transfer of Monetary Policy in the Sector Through Open Market Operations Channel. I kind of mentioned that a little bit, but here the article is talking about the workshop dealt with the monetary policy with all monetary measures through which the central bank manages the expansion and contraction in the volume of the monetary supply in order to maintain price stability and control of inflation, in order to achieve that integration and harmony with the rest of their policies. As I said, central bank is involved in their policies. It says the workshop dealt with monetary policy, and that monetary policy is going to be key because why? It's going to have to deal with objectives of operational, intermediate, and final. In other words, there is going to be that qualitative and quantitative and qualitative tools that they're going to be using for the central bank to control those commercial banks and control their monetary liquidity. Monetary policy that can affect economic activity by moving through its various channels, which is by bonds, I mentioned, price channels, interest rate channels, exchange rate channels, bank credit channels. So this article basically just sums it up and reiterates what I was talking about. So look, what does that mean for us? Well, open market operations is unbelievable, you guys. It is that they have a penchant to be able to move into the open market. It is completely financially, to me, is unbelievable that Iraq's getting ready to go international, and with that open market operations, you're going to find that that has a component of exactly what they said they were going to do. And I think Al-Sudani is going to be right. Because if they're going to go into the marketplace, they're going to open marketplace, they're going to use bonds, they're going to use all these different tools, interest rate channels, all those things to go international. That means that they're going to have an international exchange rate. And to me, that is very important. Look, there's no coincidences that between TAFE Sami and the high-level delegation that is going to meet in Erbil. It is our view, the central bank branch in Erbil tomorrow is where they're going to be, or somewhere similar. And what are they going to be talking about? They're going to be talking about major files with the Central Bank of Erbil because of that workshop. Those items that I just got through talking about, they're relating to what? Effectively defending Iraq's global currency. Because that's what they're going to use. They're going to use those tools to do what? Defend the currency. It basically is talking about what I believe is the managed float. And I believe that we have evidence of that in patreon.com that shows that that to be the case from the Prime Minister's advisor did numerous articles a few weeks back describing specifically what the pros and cons were about fixed, pegged, etc., or a mixture of those. And so here, this stuff here is just basically reiterating that they have the tools to do what? To defend the currency, to manage it in the marketplace. The central bank now, Central Bank of Baghdad, Central Bank branch of Kurdistan is going to have to be in sync. And when they say speed, in this new system, if they all interlink at the same time, the speed at which they can do business, especially if you have remember what? JP Morgan and Chase was involved, Citibank was involved, Ernst & Young has been involved, K2's involved, MoneyGram, Visa, MasterCard, and who was the Iraqi dinar paired with back when in 2023 with the help of JP Morgan was Iraq and XRP. And that's one of the reasons why I've added this new trial period for all of you guys and everybody that is a member for the next 30 days to have a special access to that, and that will be in perpetuity. So it won't cost you anything extra, it'll be free, but that's for the new customers. But in the future, it's going to have a little extra fee to that tier in the next 30 days. And I hope everybody appreciates that, enjoys, but it's a little give back for all that you've been giving Militiaman and crew, and I want you guys to have a great weekend. The channel's open now, and you guys can come in and see. There's a read-only site portion, but then there's a chat room also, so you can give your opinions. Our rules still apply. Keep it nice, keep it safe. Try to keep it as positive and professional as possible. And we appreciate that most of you and all of you at this stage seem to appreciate that as well. And so thank you for much. We'll keep that happening. So hey, if you enjoy the room, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell your friends. Come on in for the next 30 days, and you can get a little extra to you can get if you don't know anything about XRP and all that technology that's coming to the world, I think it's a really good idea that people do that. It's going to be a learning experience for me, and so we can all learn together. I've got a little bit of experience in it, but I guess I'm a novice because I just didn't really pay attention to artificial intelligence. I didn't really pay attention to some of these things, and now they have my attention. Articles I didn't bring in today talk specifically about the models that they're using in Iraq are AI oriented, and that's going to have some problems. It's going to have some issues in the future because of water, for instance. So everybody pay attention, learning exercise, and please come check it out for what it's worth. I think there's added value for everybody, and we'd love to see you there. So enjoy, have a great weekend, and don't forget we have the PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle, and you can find that all in the description in our room. Gigi does a wonderful job helping people, and then also on those of you that are out there just only on YouTube, you have that ability to do so. Check that out. So see you soon, and see you tonight. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.